What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Sands and Friends podcast coming to you again. Week 6 of the NFL Sports Report. We got some tough matchups this week. We're going to see who come out on top. You know what we do around here. We welcome all our new listeners in. All our returning listeners, welcome them back in as well. Come on, guys, back in. The water's just fine, and we're going to have a good time. This is NFL Week 6 Sports Report. You know how we started off here? We have the game of the week. We got Washington coming in 4-1, coming to Baltimore, who's 3-2. Washington beat Cleveland 34-13 last week, with Jaden Daniels leading the way. He had 238 yards passing and 1 TD. He also had 82 rushing yards on the day. McLaurin had 112 receiving yards, and Brian Robinson Jr. found pay there twice in the victory. The Ravens won a close game against rival Cincinnati, 41-38 in overtime on a game-winning field goal by none other than Justin Tucker. Lamar passed for an insane 348 yards on the day and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had 92 rushing yards and a TD, and Zay Flowers finished with 7 for 111. This should be a tight matchup as it features 2 promising starting black QBs. The spread is opening at Ravens 6.5 at home against the Commander. Games that interest us. Moving right along into games that interest us. First up, why does it seem like the Bucs are always on my list? Because they are. That's a game that interests us. Buccaneers 3-2, Saints 2-3 coming in after the loss. Both lost to Atlanta, who's leading the division. Opens Saints 2.5-point favorites. The Bucs have Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irvin, and Chris Godwin to lead them, as well as Mike Evans and Rashad White. The Saints come in with Carr and Do-It-All Kamara and Chris Olave. Pay attention to Taysom Hill. He always seems to have a big game or get in that end zone when he's playing those Buccaneers. So watch out for Taysom Hill. That should be a good matchup in the first game that interests us. Next game that interests us is Chargers 2-2 coming in to Denver to play the Broncos at 3-2. Chargers are coming in well rested off of a bye, looking to get healthy. Denver beat Las Vegas 34-18. Pat Surtain with 2 interceptions and a 100-yard return for a touchdown in that game. Chargers looking to shore up that defense coming off of that bye, hoping to get some cornerbacks back, some defensive players back in that one. You got Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins, and Ladd McConkey leading the team. But you got Bo Nix starting to pick it up. You got Sean Payton out there teaching the system. He's looking like a young Drew Brees out there. You got Javonte Williams and Cortland Sutton to lead those Broncos, looking for a 3-game win streak. So, hey, Chargers, Broncos, our second game that interests us. Next up, we got the Lions, 3-1, traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys, who are 3-2. The Cowboys seem to always be on this list too. That's because every week's a big week for the Cowboys. This the week they get Detroit coming in off of a bye. Detroit well rested. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he had a little injury. Little Nicks and Brute, they had some time to heal. They're coming in fresh, while Dallas just had a tough win against Pittsburgh 20-17. Dak and company look to build on this win. Detroit comes into Dallas with Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jameson Williams taking charge. Okay, we're going to see if Dak and company can build on that win when the Lions come into Dallas in the third game that interests us. The last game that interests us is a London affair. Another London affair. We got the Jaguars 1-4 taking on the Bears, who are surprisingly 3-2 in London. But let's not forget, guys. Don't get so hyped. Don't forget. Jaguars are London's team. They played in London the most out of anybody in the NFL. That's the Jaguars' second home. And the Bears are the home team. Coming off their first win versus Indy, the Jaguars are heading to London, the underdog. The Bears are on a 2-game win streak, and we'll see which quarterback can find their main receiver. Can Lawrence find Brian Thomas Jr., or can Caleb Williams find DJ Moore? That's going to be an interesting battle in that one in our games that interest us. Thank you for tuning in. we're going to move right on to the next segment of the show. Yeah, we take a look at the individual matchups in this one in mano y mano. Mano y mano, baby. Coming to you live. We got Patrick Surtain making a list again, going against all the Chargers wide receivers. Who gonna be able to get open against Pat Surtain? The man got the clamps on everything. 2 INTs last week, ran one back to the crib, and he's a big guy, not no little guy, so where's the deficiency? How you gonna beat Pat Surtain Jr., any of the Chargers wide receivers? So maybe half of the field might be shut down. Lad McConkey and Quentin Johnson lead the Chargers wide receivers with 176 and 142 receiving yards respectively. We're going to see what Pat Surtain going to do coming off that 2-interception game for Surtain versus the Chargers. First mano-y-mano matchup. Then you got St. Brown against Trayvon Diggs. You got Trayvon Diggs, who missed last week with an ankle injury, so we'll see if he's healthy enough to even play. But if he is able to play, he's got a tough matchup in Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown has 252 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns on the season. He also thrown for 1. Trayvon Diggs versus Amon-Ra St. Brown, our matchup. Mano-y-mano number 2. And our third mano-y-mano matchup is going to be Aiden Hutchins of the Detroit Lions going against Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele of the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to see if that Aiden Hutchins really like that, because I think he liked that. He lead the league with 6.5 sacks. He's also got 6 TFLs. They count those separate, I guess. But we're going to see if Tyler Guyton, he got a little dinged up in that Pittsburgh game. He coming back off a little injury. We're going to see if he can hold up against Aiden Hutchins. And when Terrence Steele get a chance, we're going to see what they do. So I'm watching that mano-y-mano matchup. And those are my 3 mano-y-mano matchups for the week. Moving right along, this segment of the show is brought to you by me. I like to thank me for being me and you for paying attention. I love you guys. This for y'all. This is Fantasy Sits and Starts. But we're going to go over starts first. So who we're going to start? We're going to start Kirk Cousins at quarterback this week. He had a big game last week against the Buccaneers, 509 yards. Got Carolina this week. Look for Kirk Cousins to continue. He's our start at quarterback. We got Derrick Henry taking on the Washington Commanders. Pretty much he can be there every week, but he's going to be there this week playing against Washington. We got Malik Neighbors, probably should be returning from injury. He's going to be going up against those Cincinnati DBs who just allowed 7 for 111 to Zay Flowers. And Neighbors gets a lion's share of the targets in New York. So look for Neighbors to be active against that Cincinnati secondary if he plays. Start him. We got Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet is our starting tight end over in London. Jaguars aren't doing too much when it comes to the safeties, so we're going to see if they can contain Kmet, and the Bears like to get Kmet that ball in a lot of different ways. Look like I'm got the orange and blue, so go Bears. Starting defense is going to be Atlanta Falcons going against Carolina's offense. Atlanta's played some tough teams. They didn't look so good against Tampa Bay, but I think they got a nice, easier test in Carolina that they should be able to manage again. So, hey, we played the Bears against the Carolina offense last week, and they got you 17. I'm going Atlanta defense. Start them. Kicker for the week, Kai Fairburn. He got you a nice 16 last week. So, hey, he should have been the start kicker. He outdid Tucker, who got 13, which wasn't bad. But Kai, your starting kicker this week. Start him. Other options that could have been a start. Alternative option at QB is CJ Stroud. Running back, Jordan Mason. Wide receiver, DJ Metcalf. Now, moving along to who we gonna sit and ride that pine and ride that bench. We got Bo Nix. I think the hot streak come to an end. He go up against the Chargers, refresh defense, secondary. They got the people back. It's gonna be a defensive game. I don't think that. I think he's gonna do good, but I think he's worth benching this week against Chargers. Sit him. We got Josh Jacobs, Green Bay, going against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals got a decent run defense. I don't know if he's going to be much involved in the game. Sitting Josh Jacobs. I got the Patriots, wide receivers, any one of them you want, going against Houston. Houston secondary, excellent, tough. Front seven is getting there before anybody get a chance to even do anything too. So sitting all Patriots wide receivers. Pick one, name them, sit them. Conklin of New York Jets going against Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills secondary pretty stingy, so we're going to take that tight end and take him and sit him on the end of that bench. He might do something, but we're going to sit him on the bench. Conklin, bench. Washington defense versus Baltimore offense. Derrick Henry's already on that start. Then they got to deal with Lamar on the top of that. Lamar could be on the start. Washington defense, I'm not taking him. Not a chance. Sit him against Baltimore. Then we got Aubrey from the Cowboys, the kicker for the Cowboys. Who's he going against? Detroit. Detroit got a pretty stingy defense. They could give up, be susceptible to the run, but I don't know if the Cowboys can run the football, so it's questionable how they're going to be able to control and stop those Detroit Lions and that feisty defense. So I'm sitting kicker Aubrey for the Cowboys this week. Other potential sits could be Jaden Daniels, and that's going to be a hard decision because he's only been just the best quarterback in the league all year. So we could potentially sit Jaden Daniels playing against that Baltimore Ravens defense. We could sit Chuba Hubbard. He always seemed to make the list, but hey, Chuba showed out last week. Probably going to sit him again against Atlanta. Atlanta run defense really good. Then you got Jennings, Juwan Jennings for the 49ers. I'm sitting him as these guys are getting healthy, so I'm not expecting too much from him. Those are our fantasy starts and sits. Appreciate you tuning in. You're looking for those starting lineups again next week. You know I'm going to be here, and you know I'm going to bring it to you. Next segment, we're moving right along and right on into Power Rankings. Moving on to Power Rankings, where we rank the top 15. You got to be the top 15 to make this list. My list, I guess. You got to be the top 15, and here we go. Stand number 1 is Minnesota, as they went out to London, took care of business, 5-0. Stand number 2, Kansas City. They took care of business last night against New Orleans Saints. Moving up 6 spots to number 3 is Houston Texans at 4-1. Moving up 6 spots also is number 4, Washington Commanders at 4-1. Dropping down 2 spots on a bye week is Detroit to number 5 at 3-1. Atlanta up 7 spots after beating Tampa Bay to number 6 at 3-2. Number 7 Baltimore stay in number 7 Baltimore. Buffalo Bills fall 2 spots to number 8 at 3-2. Seattle Seahawks are number 9, falling 1 spot at 3-2. Pittsburgh Steelers drop 5 spots from number 5 to number 10 with a 3-2 record after losing to the Cowboys. New to the list is the Denver Broncos at 3-2 after beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Dropping down 8 spots is my Buccaneers, dropping from 4 to 12 at 3-2 after losing to the Falcons. Cowboys are up 1 spot from 14 to 13 after that close win over the Steelers. New to the list, 2 newbies. Number 14, Green Bay at 3-2, and number 15, the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams and company at 3-2. Topping out the top 15. Dropping out of the top 15 was number 11, New York Jets, number 12, New Orleans Saints, and number 15, Indianapolis Colts. Appreciate you guys tuning in to Power Rankings. Last but not least segment of the day coming right up. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all favorite segment of the day. You know I'm bringing it to you. This is my Pick 6. He's to the 30, he's to the 20, he's to the 10, the 5, the touchdown. Touchdown turn. Oh, my bad. I got into a little moment. But hey, this is my Pick 6, where I pick these Pick 6 and take them to the crib for your parlay and our money today. So far, I'm on the season 4-2. Last week being my first week, we're going to come on and do it again. So my first pick, lock of the week, is Jacksonville, the Londoners, over the Bears, 24-21. Then we got Cincinnati over the New York Giants, 27-17. Then we got Pittsburgh over the Raiders, 24-10. Then we got Houston over the lowly Patriots, 21-16. Then we got the Eagles over the Browns, 31-17 in that one. And in our game of the week, we got Baltimore over Washington, 27-21. Those are my Pick 6 locks. If you make some money on those, you're welcome. If you don't kill me because, hey, I'm just a messenger. Hey, y'all have a blessed day. I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Sands and Friends Podcast. This is your Week 6 NFL Sports Report.